Ah, the 1970s. Bell-bottom jeans, classic rock, and, most importantly, the golden age of muscle cars. Although the 1970s were like the last rodeo for muscle cars, these were the cars that burned up the quarter mile. In this video, we'll be ranking the top 10 fastest muscle cars of 1970 by their quarter-mile times. Without further ado, let's get right into it. 10. 1970. Oldsmobile 442 W30, 13.89 seconds at 101 mile per hour. Starting off the list is the Oldsmobile 442 W30, a muscle car that combined sophistication with smooth performance. The W30 package came with a 455 cubic inch V8 engine, churning out 370 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque. Paired with a Hurst-shifted 4-speed manual transmission, this car was built for speed. The functional fiberglass hood scoops not only looked cool, but also fed cold air into the beastly engine. It also had the following features, including a high-performance camshaft, improved carburation, and lighter components, among others. These enhancements significantly amplified the engine's output, making it a force to be reckoned with on both the road and the track. It may not have been as flashy as some of its rivals, but it had the heart of a warrior. Prices range from $33,000 upwards. At the 9th position, we have a car that embodies the definition of a classic ride, so continue watching to find out. 9. 1970. Plymouth GTX 4, 26 Hemi, 13.85 seconds at 104 mile per hour. Next up, we have the Plymouth GTX 4 26 Hemi. The GTX blended luxury with performance, and when equipped with the legendary 426 Hemi engine, it became an unstoppable force. The 426 Hemi was an engineering marvel. With 425 horsepower and 490 pound-feet of torque, it was essentially a race engine dropped into a street car. The GTX also had a suspension designed to handle all that power, making it not just a straight-line monster but also surprisingly great on not-so-straight roads. The GTX's plush interior and high-end features made it a comfortable cruiser. But let's be honest, nobody bought a GTX for its comfort. They bought it for the Hemi roar that commanded just the right dose of attention. You could get yours starting from $55,000 upwards. Our next gem was all about inclusion, offering an affordable option for muscle car lovers. 8. 1970. Dodge Super Bee 446-pack. 13.80 seconds at 104 mile per hour. At the number 8 spot is the 1970 Dodge Super Bee 440. The Dodge Super Bee was the muscle car for the working man. Affordable, rugged, and ridiculously powerful, it was everything a car enthusiast on a budget could want. The highlight of the Super Bee was its optional 446-pack engine. This setup included 3 two-barrel carburetors, producing a whopping 390 horsepower and 490 pound-feet of torque. And with its bold stripes and aggressive stance, the Super Bee basically stood on business. The price for this cool ride starts from $73,000 upwards. This next vehicle comes from a brand that has made its mark over the years in the automobile industry, so little wonder why it features on this list. 7. 1970. Ford Torino Cobra 429 Super Cobra Jet, 13.63 seconds at 106 mile per hour. At the number 7 spot is the Ford Torino Cobra 429 Super Cobra Jet. Ford entered the muscle car wars with the Torino Cobra. a car that was as intimidating as its name suggests. Equipped with the 429 Super Cobra jet engine, this car wasn't playing around. The Super Cobra jet was a high-compression, solid-lifter beast that produced 375 horsepower and 450 pound-feet of torque, but those numbers don't tell the full story. Ford engineered the Torino Cobra for serious drag racing, adding features like a ram air induction system and a beefed-up suspension. It may not have had the same flamboyant looks as a Dodge or Plymouth, but the Torino Cobra had an intense aura. If you have about $70,000 and above to spare, then you can get one for yourself. Up next is a car that commands attention without even doing too much. One of a kind, we tell you. 6. 1970 Dodge Challenger RT4 46-pack. 13.62 seconds at 104 miles per hour. Zooming in at number 6, we have the Dodge Challenger RT440. Hi, the Dodge Challenger, a name that still commands respect today. In 1970, the Challenger RT446-pack was a standout, combining jaw-dropping looks with serious muscle. Under the hood was the same 440 cubic inch V8 found in the Super B, complete with the 6-pack carburetor setup. With 390 horsepower and 490 pound-feet of torque, it was super fast. The long hood, wide stance, and unmistakable grille made the Challenger a head-turner. Prices typically start from $90,000 upwards. If you know your muscle cars well, the name The Judge will definitely ring a bell. If it doesn't, well, we've got you covered with our next car. If you've enjoyed the video so far, kindly give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. 5. 1970 Pontiac GTO Ram Air 400. 13.60 seconds at 104.5 miles per hour. At number 5, we have the Pontiac GTO. The Pontiac GTO, affectionately called the Judge, was already an icon by 1970. But the Ram Air 4 option took it to the next level. The Ram Air 4 400 cubic inch V8 engine delivered 370 horsepower and 445 pound-feet of torque, thanks to high-flow cylinder heads and a special camshaft. It was the kind of car that could throw you back in your seat and keep you there until you hit the quarter-mile mark. Pontiac made sure the GTO looked the part too, with bold stripes, a hood-mounted tachometer, and an intense style that commanded attention. Prices typically start from $75,000 upwards. Refined and classy is how we'd like to describe the car we'd be discussing next, so stick around to find out. 4. 1970 Buick GS Stage 1455. 13.38 seconds at 105.5 miles per hour. The 4th spot belongs to the 1970 Buick GS Stage 1455. If you're not familiar with muscle cars, you might miss out on gems not made by brands as popular as the others we've talked about so far. This particular one is a great example. Don't let it fool you. This car was anything but tame. The GS Stage 1455 was that car, hiding a monster engine under its classy exterior. The 455 cubic inch V8 engine produced 360 horsepower and a staggering 510 pound-feet of torque. It was one of the torquiest engines of the era, capable of launching the GS Stage 1 down the quarter mile in just 13.38 seconds. What made the GS Stage 1 special was its dual personality. It was refined and comfortable enough for regular drives, but could also easily prove its worth against almost any car on the tracks. Prepare to cough out from $94,000 upwards for this bad boy. Just by the name of the next car, you'll know exactly the stuff it's made of. Enough talk, let's get into it. 3. 1970. Plymouth Road. Runner 4. 26 Hemi. 13.34 seconds at 107.5 mile per hour. At the third spot, we have the 1970 Plymouth Roadrunner 426 Hemi. If you call the Plymouth Roadrunner a street legend, you won't be wrong. And when equipped with the 426 Hemi, it was virtually unstoppable. With its 425 horsepower and 490 pound-feet of torque, the Roadrunner could tear through the quarter-mile in 13.34 seconds. But what really set it apart was its simplicity. Plymouth kept the Roadrunner affordable by stripping away unnecessary frills and focusing on performance. So this car was focused on providing you with the heart-pounding speed and adrenaline rush. Every other thing was a secondary addition. You can cop this ride from $80,000 upwards. Now, if we left out this next car, we wouldn't have done justice to this list. We are talking about none other than the 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle SS 454 LS6. 2. 1970. Chevrolet Chevelle SS 454 LS6. 13.12 seconds at 107 mile per hour. Breezing in at number 2 is the 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle SS 454 LS6. The Chevelle SS 454 LS6 was Chevy's ultimate muscle car. With its massive 454 cubic-inch V8 engine, it delivered an insane 450 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque, making it one of the most powerful production cars of its time. The LS6 wasn't just fast, it was super fast. It could rocket down the quarter mile in 13.12 seconds, leaving its rivals in the dust. And with its bold stripes, cowl induction hood, and aggressive stance, it looked just as mean as it drove. Prices for this car typically start around $50,000 and can climb well past $100,000 for the best models. Mirror, mirror, mirror on the grid, who's the fastest of them all? A deep growl echoes through time. The asphalt trembles, and the reflection staring back. The 1970 Plymouth Hemi Cuda 1. 1970. Plymouth Hemi Cuda. 13.10 seconds at 107 mile per hour. And finally, we arrive at the king of the pack, the 1970 Plymouth Hemi Cuda. This car was the stuff of legends, with its 426 Hemi engine delivering 425 horsepower and 490 pound-feet of torque. This car was a statement. From its shaker hood to its muscular fenders, everything about the Hemi Cuda screamed performance. With a quarter-mile time of 13.10 seconds, it was the fastest muscle car of 1970 and an enduring icon of the muscle car era. Now, not only is it brutally fast, but it's also a beauty. Just right for a collector's garage, this ride will set you back 6 figures for starters. It could also be more pricey than that. But hey, the value will increase, so just consider it as an investment with style. It's important to note that the prices mentioned for the cars in this video are approximate and based on various sources at the time of research. Actual prices can vary significantly depending on factors such as the car's condition, originality, location, market demand, and rarity. We've come to the end of the video. If you enjoyed watching, kindly drop a like, share, and subscribe. Also, what's your favorite car on this list? We'd love to hear from you in the comments.